Hello guys and welcome to the first episode of my long-awaited game Planet Zoo. Today is the first day we can play it, and first we have to create a new avatar because everything we did in the beta phase is now deleted. I'm very excited. I hope that they fixed some issues with the PC resources, so I hope that I can play it with a bit less lags and spikes. Otherwise, I will have to wait with the videos until I get my better PC in 1 or 2 months. But I will definitely play it on my own because I personally don't really care about the lag spikes because I'm used to it. Alright, so let's build our avatar. Let's see. I think I like this one the most. Yeah, don't really like these beards. So now let's change the face. He has a little double chin. Yeah, he looks weird too, but I guess I take him. Yeah, they don't look too bad on him. Yeah, probably he shouldn't wear this jeans to the shirt, so we will take this one. Can we change the color of the shirt underneath? I guess not. I mean, I like it that this is rolled up a bit. This is probably more fitting to the jeans, but Okay. Yeah. Let's leave it like this, I guess. Alright, so we already unlocked 3 achievements. Maybe because we did the first career scenario in the beta phase, but normally you the game completely reset, so I don't think that we still have any progress. But yeah, so there is a community challenge, I guess. And also I will probably start now with our franchise zoo, because there are daily challenges, as I heard. And if that's the case, then we try to complete these ones each day. So let's play the franchise mode now. Let's try to get the daily mission if there is any, and then try to help with the community quest. And then let's do 1 or 2 career stars if we have some time left. How do we want to call it? Yeah, we will be able to change it later, so let's just call it Earth. Maybe I will go for planet names, I don't know, because it's Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster and stuff like that, right? No, yeah, maybe I will go for some planet names, but for now I am ready. New rewards. Okay, so we have 800 of these community tokens or whatever they were called. Let's go with grassland. Grassland in Europe. Oh, okay, so actually this is our zoo name. And now I wonder if we are also able to change this name later on. I have no clue. So think. Should we name it differently? Is this even a word? Should we name it different than Earth? Nah, let's just stick with it. And we got another achievement. Okay, so let's just stop the time, because nothing is happening here, because of course we don't have anything yet. Okay, it seems like we are able to rename it, but I don't know if it will also change in the main menu then. But I don't care about that now. I just want to see how big the whole thing is. Okay, so it goes up to here. I remember that people don't really like to see the facility buildings, so maybe I will just start the zoo to the right and then make a separated area over here so people don't have to see it. I mean, I won't go for a good look for now because we have to get our franchise mode running, so I just built everything basic, not really good looking, cover the whole map, and once we get a good running franchise mode and get more or less endless money, we will destroy everything again and then start from the backside and create everything in a better, good looking way and build our own stuff. But for now, what's that way over here? Which one is it? I mean, the shape is more or less the same, but the color is of course different. Why isn't it in here? Well, then I will probably just go with my own. And I will take... Yeah, I will probably just go with this one here, the first one. Oh, okay, so there are also paths that only our stuff can take, I suppose. So let's get the angle snap to build everything symmetric, I guess, or yeah, straightforward to get as much as possible. But let's see what... Yeah, that should be the same size. Okay. Well, actually, this doesn't seem to be really parallel to the outline of our zoo. So there is for sure some problem with the... Yeah, probably just with the outline. But for sure it isn't completely straight, at least it seems like it. Yeah, it seems to get bigger and bigger. Ah, I hate that. Why? Oh, can we just... Can we destroy this one? Yes, we can. The question is, can we make it more straight? Because I mean, the entrance itself looks to be straight. Oh boy. This is weird. Yeah. I'm wondering. Okay, yeah, we can't destroy this one. We can only destroy the inner parts. Ooh, that's sad. I hate it. This doesn't make it better. Yeah, so how should we know how it's straight? Well, is there another way? Yeah, there we have the same problem. And this one is probably not straight because of the reasons we saw earlier. So this could work. But now, I mean, I probably want... Do I want the paths to be bigger or not? This is the question now. Okay, so this should be straight now. At least it seems like it. But do I want to be it bigger or not? I mean, I'm not sure if it's like in Planet Zoo that people basically block each other from walking, because there you wanted some bigger paths, because once you had so many people in your park, they just got stuck everywhere because there was no space for them to walk anymore. But if they can go through each other here, then it would be fine, because the smaller the paths, of course, the more space we have for habitats. So I think we will just try it like this. And okay. And if it doesn't work later on, then yeah, we have to rebuild it or make another zoo. I think that this looks more straight now, which I really like. Okay. Seems to be all flat at the same height, so we don't have to care about that stuff. Isn't here any destroying tool for the trees like in Jurassic World? Well, I guess this works as well. Oh, nice. It actually even gives us money, right? No. Okay. No, of course it doesn't. So we just clear everything on this side where we want to build. Maybe go for a bigger path now here in the middle. That's bad. I wish I could just merge them to one path. Oh, okay. This is also useful, I guess. Okay, but at least it seems to be straight now. And now we just have to know okay. Yeah, that's bad that there is no grid in between. Well, I guess this is working as well. With this one, okay, there you have to place one by one, but I don't really care about it as long as it works. Yeah, probably should play the tutorial to get some more tips. So if we make this one, then people shouldn't be able to go to this side, right? So then we need zoo challenges. Okay, so we have to breed them. And we have time until the 10th of November. So we have to breed at least one Bengal tiger, I guess. Well, I wish I would know how to breed one, but I guess we still have some time to figure that out. Okay, so what do we need? We need a workshop. I wish you could just click on it and then place it, but it seems like we have to search for it. Okay, so here is no other grid. Which one does look better? I guess this one. So, how can we do it so it looks good and straight? I mean, I wish there would be an overall grid. So basically we could say, okay, we always leave one square free and then place one. But if I go like this, I would need to see the square on this row to be... Oh, there... Are there any other... I know there were some placement options. Okay. Position snap. I don't think that's what we are looking for. Yeah, I don't think that there is any option like this. But to be sure, we will just go to the main menu and play the first 2 or 3 of our career scenarios, because there we get some tips. Maybe we will find out anything like that. Okay, so we actually got the stars still from the beta phase, but we will still do it again, because we never know if they changed anything or added anything during this month. So there are probably some new tips. Then this is a tutorial, and this one is one as well, I guess, because this is then the regular career mode. So let's do these 3 and then that's enough for today, and hopefully maybe we can start our franchise then tomorrow and help the community challenge. Start new.
At Hematu. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prides, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face
Hello,
of yours, I'm
Nancy.
guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals. We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat. See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it. Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions.
That's
I've
nice.
marked their location for
The
you to
first
find.
animal we saw just pooped in front of us. Classic. Okay, so the West African lion habitat.
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. Lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome.
Classic.
Which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
Okay, so now that we saw every animal in our zoo shitting, we are going to the empty habitat.
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section. There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants. When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade center, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home? When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade center, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade center's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
Who's visiting me? Go away, dude! That's my planet Earth. Alright.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. they'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information. Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl. Animals also require
Let's give them a
stimulation
shady
to keep them
place.
happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count
Roll
towards their
around.
enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare. Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a fair old state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos. Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner. Ah, that's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it. Right, let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier. Good work! Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier, so the guests can see in. There we go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on, because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them. Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh?
Okay,
Way,
so adapt for new.
By clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get 4 of them in here. While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
Well, let's place it then near our glass. Okay, 2 people are visiting us. Stop to stalk me, guys. Food enrichment. Oh, I didn't place one, I guess.
Good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did you do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals. You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path. This keeper hut only has space for 1 keeper, but the larger keeper hut can allow multiple keepers to prepare food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests. Guests don't like seeing facility buildings, and it can affect their happiness. Negatively. In case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a whole host of other objects need is power. And that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a transformer next to it, shall we?
So yeah, we also see that this one is a staff path, so I guess it's enough that people just can't walk to them rather than not seeing them, so I don't have to build any barrier or stuff like that so they can see all that. I guess it just has to be on a staff path. I hope I could also place it right at the beginning, because in our franchise zoo we want to start like with this distance with the buildings. Otherwise I have to, I don't know, place a barrier to protect
Now,
it
the reason everything has
from
gone blue
the
is
side
because
of
you're
the
using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't
visitors,
powered in your
but
zoo. So once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off. Lovely work. Now the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers. We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet. Head on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away. Righty, your next job is to build a habitat from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier. Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Alright.
Now,
So
Bernie takes
number
safety
one.
very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode.
Yeah, this was the
Great.
thing
Now
that we
highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat.
had
You can do
trouble
that by
in
clicking
the
and
beta
dragging
phase
barrier selection
because we, or I, did click it like this the whole way around, but you can actually drag it, which is of course way faster.
Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
Yeah, make 3.8 then. And we
Now
need
that
a
the habitat is
donation
in
box.
place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas. We need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch. Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
So yeah, they
Whilst our
actually
trusty caretakers
changed
collect and deliver the tigers,
some
let's take
bits
a look
of
at
the
preparing
tutorial,
habitat for their
so
arrival.
it's maybe not
We'll
bad
start
that
with
we
the
repeat
basics.
it.
Add a suitable feeding station for them. This time, instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different. Some animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can
We
also
got a
use it to
new
drink
achievement.
from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool. Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat? Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat, so they can hide from the guests, or more likely, the bad weather. Although, given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you. Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel.
Painting,
Click on the
we
terrain
need
tab.
more
That way you
soil.
can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat. Okay then, open the terrain editing tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare. Right then, all animals need plants and trees from their own biome or continent. You know, deserts, savannas, or Asia, Europe, that sort of thing. It looks like these tigers need a few more plants in their habitat. To get a perfect fit, use plants from the rainforest and temperate biomes that are native to Asia. Although if you have to, you can get away with using just one or the other. The tigers will also want a certain amount of their habitat to be covered by those plants. To find out which plants to use and how many, select a tiger and go to the Environment tab. Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
Okay, so that should be all that we don't want. Tropical temperate grasslands. And there we go.
They say that good fences make good neighbors. I guess that's doubly true when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still, those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave, even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
Right, let's head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve their social welfare. Now then, just find one of the peafowls and select them to open our information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese. Expand their social welfare and we can get a bit more detail.
Yeah, we need
Now,
more.
they've clearly
We
got
know
plenty of
that.
space and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong. Right, as you can see, the peafowls need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then. Good work on those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her. Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests. As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered. You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them. It'll take a little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen.
Okay, where is the guy in here? There he is.
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important statistic. Now, to quickly see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section. As you can see, this list shows you the animal's overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the animals are well looked after.
Speedy the turtle. Okay, so let's see what's wrong with them. I wish you also could just open their information from just this panel. So where are they? In here? Yes. Enrichment. Okay. Who else? Who wants some help? Can we sort it by welfare? Yes. So let's take these guys because there are a lot of them. Of the zebras. What's your problem, Mr. Zebra? Not bad, she said. So yeah.
The first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that. If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Sounds like you've got the whole zoo purring away nicely. Well, purring, grunting, screaming, booming. All the appropriate noises. I guess I was right to hire you, huh? Don't tell her I told you, but Nancy wasn't sure you'd even last the morning. So, we're happy this is working out. And Nancy owes me a Foxy coffee. As strange as it seems, considering we just met, when I look at you, I feel like you're the child I never had. After the one I did have, obviously. But you see, zookeeping's not for my daughter. Don't get me wrong. Emma absolutely loves animals, but she set her sights somewhat higher. Wants to save the entire planet. I'll just settle for saving a couple of species. And maybe having a type of frog named after me.
Alright guys, so actually I think that's enough for today. We will play the other two tutorial levels tomorrow, and after that we will keep going in between franchise and the career mode, depending on the quests we have to do for the franchise mode, because of course we want to participate at all the community challenges and get all the personal quests. But until tomorrow, I wish you a great day, and we will see us tomorrow, I hope. So bye bye.